Welcome back, guys. We want to do another project, and in this particular project we want to work with strings. So let's create our project and call it working with strings. Click on next and let's start. So basically, a string is something we've literally used before, but maybe not potentially as a potential variable name. So we want to create two variables, and I can call my variable 1 as elements 1. I'll make that an array that has 80 characters. I'll also do the same for the next variable, which will be elements 2, and it will look like that. So this then means I want to have 2 character values. Okay. So with my strings, I can simply put the following: cout to get the content of whatever string I need to work with. I can state that please enter 2 strings. I don't need the new line, so I put a cin, and then I say elements 1, cin elements 2. Let's just test it. And so with our header files, we'll simply need to put #include cstdio and include string, like that. That should help us. Maybe the .h file. I spelled string wrong, that's why. Okay, let's build it again. Perfect. So I just made some errors, corrected them. Let's see now. Green, yellow. Okay. So it's working perfect. It gives us the length of the string that we've entered, which is 5. Okay, but we need to then specify which length we are talking about. So we say string 1, like that. Then we're just going to copy this since it works for the second string, and we'll edit just what we've put so that we are on the same page. So just change that to 2. We just change that to 2 as well. Okay, so like we said, this gives us our string length, and all we need to do is put whatever we would have put in the string. So for example, if I put my 2 strings, it should give me the length of each string based on which string I would have put. So the first section gives us the input where we enter the 2 strings. The second section gives us the length of each of the strings. Okay, we want to get to the next stage where we want to compare the 2 strings. Okay, we then put a cout, and we want to compare the 2 strings. And to compare our 2 strings, we do the following. It's simply strcmp, we open brackets, we want to put elements, and then elements 2. Okay, maybe before we actually get into having this work, we need to explain what our string compare does. So our string compare is supposed to compare the 2 strings and check if they're equal. Okay, if they're not equal, then it's supposed to let us know. If they're equal, it's supposed to also let us know. So we then need to maybe create some code that gives us some sort of reference point to show us whether this is true or not. So in the next section, we want to be able to see how we can work with our string compare. So we want to check how we can use this statement. For now, just comment it out and then create a means of actually using it. So we can say if we've got our strcmp and we started with a not, if you remember our statements, we actually started a not where we are actually checking whether our elements 1 and our elements 2 are actually equal. So we then want to put the following. The first one being true, the next one being not true. So this becomes equal to the first string, like that. Or we can say the next one is not equal to the first string, like that. Okay, we can build it. We enter our 2 strings, green, red. Okay, so with the get string length, we get the string length being 5, and that's the first one, and the second one we get it as 3. And then we want to compare the 2 strings. We then get told that they're not equal to the first string. Okay, so let's actually run it and have maybe the same strings and see if it still gives us the same output. So it's green as well. So it now tells us equal to the first string for our compare strings. Our string lengths are exactly the same, and what we've entered we can also see on the screen, and that is what we're getting. Okay, so in other words, we're then saying this string compare we can be able to actually use this in trying to compare strings that are exactly the same. Okay, for example, let's say we're working with a login system. That's where we can actually work with our string compare, and we can use it to compare the value of two elements that are supposed to be equal. So for example, we can have our password, whereby whatever the user has entered and whatever is our password is what we are checking for. It then gives us access to the next stage or to the next element that we need in our string. Okay, the next bit that we want to actually then look at, which is the last of the functions that we can work with, is our string copy. Okay, so our string copy will copy whatever would have entered, and it will make a amendment to whatever would have had. So it copies and it then gives us a combined value, if I can put it that way. Let's actually see it, and then I will explain as we are working with our code. But at this particular point, I think let's actually put a new line there and a new line there, so that we see how this looks and it's a bit more presentable this way. Okay, so let's do it this way. Use of string copy element. Okay, it's not really an element, it's a function, but let us proceed. Okay, so now we want to use our string copy, which is strcpy. I forgot the C right there. So strcpy. We want to be able to use elements and elements like that, so that we can see what the output of these would be. So after using our string copy, we can then be able to just put our couts and view what this gives us. Okay, I'm just gonna copy paste, and then we add whatever we need to add to our content. Okay, so this becomes value of elements 1. This becomes value of elements 2. And then we put elements 1. And then we also put elements 2. So if we run our project now, it's supposed to enter our 2 strings. Let's say we've got range product. Like that. So here's what it then gives us. So the string, the length of the strings, we now have 5 and 8. When we want to compare our strings, we know that not equal to the first string. When we want to copy our elements, we've got value of elements 1 products, value of elements 2 products. So in essence, we have made our elements 1 the same value, so to speak. So I'd actually explained it in the not so correct manner. After doing this, we can actually see that our products is exactly the same, which means we have used our value and made it the same value for both elements. That's pretty much what it is. So let's actually just put a new line on this one, on these ones, so that at least it doesn't look the way that it's presented. And if we run it again, you can just see like that. Okay, it's looking a bit better now. So the lengths are different, they're not equal, and we've got manager. Okay, so now it's working. So here ends this lesson.